My name is Kelly, and I'm guilty of crimes against validity. For 10 years, I used traditional grading. Points were my counterfeit currency. I could print them for free and toss them around like prizes and punishments. I ran the game my students and I were playing. I controlled the rules, I directed our path, I judged who won and lost. My students knew the game, most of their other teachers had their own versions, and they played along like eager pawns. Luckily, it was my students who taught me the irony of our game. Gina and Alex copied and plagiarized, desperately trying to earn a few points. Jared tried to make up for lost points by racing to crank out some extra credit by the end of the semester. Angel, who understood that this was all a game, asked, "How many points is this worth?" before starting any assignment. And Talon simply chose not to turn in work for points, whether or not he'd learned anything. These kids taught me that our class was all about points, and points were free to me. How many points is this worth? 100, 1 million, 1. Their grades were completely in my control. But I didn't want our class to be all about points, and I didn't want the control. I wanted to teach a class that was all about learning, about growth, where students had control over their progress and their success. What could help me change the game? Standards-based grading leveled the playing field. Now students aim for mastery instead of points and demonstrate their growth in different ways. If Gina struggles to research transcendentalism, she tries again with modern civil disobedience. If Jared flails during a speech, he contributes to a Socratic seminar. Skills, not assignments, are our new goals. Learning, not points. Research into assessment and grading helped me change the rules of the game. This time, the rules were for me. I will not award participation points. I will not use the 0 as punishment. Extra credit must be the result of extra learning, and I will involve students in the grading process. There were a few surprises. Kids and parents weren't always happy. Tori, who had started most grades and ended most grades with 100%, was surprised to find in September that she actually had room to grow. Nick, who appreciated the cushion of extra credit, was disappointed to watch his grade climb slowly and steadily as he learned, rather than in one huge leap with a diorama. Together, we discovered that growth was about more than just jumping through a hoop to collect the points. It was about grit, mindset, curiosity, and contributing to a learning community. I was surprised that the power structure in my classroom changed. I used to stand at the clipboard and the assignment police checking to see who'd turned in work. Now my clipboard is used for good, not evil. Now I can stroll through a classroom noting which standards are being demonstrated as students work and discuss. A question, an outline, a robotic recycling prototype, almost anything can show learning and growth on standards. Of course, I still can't read minds, and we can't yet download or upload to students' brains, so I'll never know completely what they understand. That's why students are ultimately responsible for demonstrating mastery, whether it's with a learning opportunity I design or one they develop on their own. Twice each semester, every student leads a conference in which they show evidence of their learning and set goals for their next steps. They're reflecting on what they learn, they're setting and monitoring goals, they have a hand in determining their grade. Conversations have changed. When I congratulated Alex on taking time to look upwards rather than racing to finish a reading quiz, she replied in shock, "You're the only teacher who would say that learning is more important than the test." But I'm not the only teacher who thinks this way. When a student wants to change their grade, my friend Jen from Mead asks, "What skills do you need growth in? How can I help you get there? How can you prove you've grown?" My colleague Kylen, who teaches art in Lake Stevens, tells students, "Pretend you're me. What do I need to see to know that you're better?" My co-presenter Jeff in Spokane, who writes about how standards-based grading empowers students, says, "When students know their scores early in the term, they can see where they need to apply extra efforts to get the grade they desire." My favorite part about standards-based grading is that student growth is more important than my assignments. When we redesign our gradebooks around learning instead of points, we become more flexible and more focused. And when students can take charge of their learning and apply it in any situation, they are ready to take on the world. Thanks.